forest beyond the Rio Blanco was eerily still that morning. Mist curled through the pines, softening the sound of hooves as a cowboy rode alone through the trees. His name was Eli Carter, a ranch hand turned bounty hunter known for tracking outlaws across the Badlands. But this time he wasn't chasing anyone. The one doing the hunting was her. He didn't know her name, only whispers. An Apache woman who rides like the wind and kills like the desert night. He'd seen her shadow in the hills for days. He didn't believe in ghosts, but she felt close to one. Eli had been hired by the army to deliver a message to Fort Bowie, but the route cut through Apache territory. Every sound made him tense, the rustle of a leaf, a crow's call. Then an arrow thudded into the tree beside him. He froze, scanning the trees. "Show yourself," he shouted. The woods answered only with silence. Then from the mist she appeared, tall, fierce, wearing a doeskin dress and carrying a bow. Her eyes were dark and steady. She didn't look like a savage killer, she looked like someone guarding what was hers. Eli slowly raised his hands. "I'm not here to fight," he said. The woman said nothing, her bowstring taut. "I'm just passing through." She circled him silently, assessing every movement. Her hair was braided tight, feathers woven through. Finally, she lowered her bow. "Leave this land," she said in accented English, her voice calm but commanding. "No white man rides here." Eli swallowed. "Can't, Fort's 2 days east." Her eyes narrowed. "Then you will not leave alive." With that, she vanished back into the trees like smoke, leaving him shaken and strangely curious. That night, Eli built a small campfire, his hand never far from his revolver. He could feel her watching him. Somewhere in the dark, a horse snorted. He looked up to see her again, standing on a ridge silhouetted by the moon. "Why are you following me?" he called out. She didn't answer. Instead, she threw something at his feet, a broken silver locket. When he picked it up, his heart stopped. Inside was a photo of a soldier, his brother Daniel Carter, the same man who'd gone missing months ago during a border raid. Eli looked up, but she was gone. By morning, Eli couldn't shake the image. Why did she have his brother's locket? He saddled his horse and followed her trail deeper into the woods. Hours passed until he came to an old canyon where smoke rose from a hidden camp. Apache dwelling stood silent, empty. Then from behind him she appeared again, bow drawn. "You should have listened," she said coldly. "I'm looking for my brother," Eli replied. "His name's Daniel." That locket belonged to him. Her expression shifted, pain flickering in her eyes. Slowly she lowered her weapon. "Your brother is dead." Eli's throat tightened. "How do you know?" She hesitated, then spoke quietly. "He was captured by soldiers. They attacked our village. He tried to stop them. He saved my son." Her voice trembled for the first time. "He died protecting us." Eli felt the air leave his chest. "Then you knew him." She nodded. "He was a good man, not like the others." She reached into a pouch and pulled out a small carved pendant. "He gave me this before he fell." She handed it to Eli. He said if his brother came, to tell him he was sorry. Eli sat down on a rock, the weight of her words crushing him. "Sorry for what?" he asked softly. "For following orders," she said. "For what your people did to mine." A long silence fell between them, broken only by the whispering trees. He looked at her then, really looked, at the grief, the strength, the scars. "What's your name?" he asked. "Tala," she replied. The name suited her, sharp and wild. "Tala," he repeated quietly. "I reckon I owe you a debt for what you did for him." She looked away. "You owe me nothing. Only leave this place." But Eli didn't leave. That night he stayed near the canyon, unable to move on. Tala watched from the shadows, bow in hand, but she didn't attack. Instead, she watched him as if studying a storm. Dangerous, unpredictable, but human. When he finally spoke, his voice was steady. "My brother wouldn't want me to run." She stepped out from the dark, her face lit by firelight. "Then stay. But know this, if the army comes again, they'll find nothing left to burn." Her words carried centuries of pain. Eli nodded. "Then maybe it's time someone stood on your side." The following days blurred into uneasy truce. Eli helped mend fences, hunted game, and learned a few Apache words. Tala's people watched him warily, but her young son, Noka, followed him everywhere, curious about his horse and hat. Slowly, laughter returned to the camp. Eli and Tala spoke often, at night by the fire where she told stories of the land and its spirits. He told her of his ranch, of the family he lost, The more he learned, the more he saw that the world wasn't divided by color or tribe, but by mercy and cruelty. And Tala, though fierce, had mercy still. Then one dawn, riders appeared at the edge of the canyon, blue coats and rifles gleaming. The army. Eli cursed under his breath. They tracked me, he said. Tala's eyes hardened. Then you led them here. He shook his head. No, I'll stop them. Before she could answer, Eli mounted his horse and rode toward the soldiers, waving his hands. You can't go in there, he shouted. There's women and children? The captain sneered. Orders are orders, Carter. Step aside. Eli's blood boiled. He drew his gun and pointed it at the man he once served. You'll ride over my body first. Gunfire cracked through the canyon. Smoke and chaos filled the air. Eli fought with everything he had, taking down 2 soldiers before a bullet struck his shoulder. Tala's warriors emerged from the rocks, arrows flying like shadows. The army fled, retreating under the storm of fire. When the smoke cleared, Eli lay bleeding in the dust. Tala ran to him, her hands trembling as she pressed cloth to his wound. You're a fool, she whispered. He smiled weakly. Guess that makes 2 of us. For the first time she laughed, a sound soft as rain after drought. Days later, Eli woke in her tent, the smell of herbs and smoke around him. Tala sat beside him, her face calm but her eyes full of something new, worry. You should rest, she said. You've done enough. He tried to sit up. Not yet. I still got to deliver that message, she frowned. What message? A treaty, he said quietly. Between your people and the settlers. My brother died trying to make it happen. Her eyes widened. A treaty? He nodded. Maybe it's time someone finished what he started. For a long moment she said nothing. Then she took his hand. Weeks passed as they worked together to send word through both camps, Apache and settlers, pushing for peace. It wasn't easy. Many didn't trust, many refused. But Eli's loyalty and Tala's courage slowly changed hearts. When the day of the meeting came, they stood together on the riverbank, watching 2 flags rise side by side. No cheers, no celebration, just quiet understanding. Your brother would be proud, Tala said softly. Eli looked at her, the sunlight glinting off her hair. Reckon I'm proud too, she smiled faintly. You came here as an enemy. And leaving, he asked. As something more, she whispered. When Eli finally rode away from the canyon, Tala and Noka stood watching until he disappeared into the trees. He carried her pendant now, tied to his neck beside the old locket. The woods were quiet again, but different, alive. He knew he'd return one day, not as a hunter, but as a man who'd found purpose in the unlikeliest of places. The Apache woman who had once hunted him had, in the end, taught him what it meant to live with honor, with heart. And in the lonely woods of the Wild West, their story became a whisper carried by the wind forever.